I assume means that we are live. Welcome. It's Sunday night, it's 8 o'clock, and you're watching Let's Kill Twitter with me, Julian Hall. This is the show that aims to detox your timeline with the art of conversation. No easy task, but thankfully I have not one but two fantastic guests this evening, the fabulous comedians Juliet Meyers and Harriet Braine. Now, before I introduce Juliet and Harriet properly, just a bit of admin. We're now streaming live on Facebook, YouTube and Twitch. YouTube has all our previous shows and all our clips on it, so please do check us out there and give us a subscribe. That would be fantastic. Crucially, do follow us on our Twitter account at LKTZoom, which you can see before you on the share screen. And also splashed liberally, that's my own account, splashed liberally across this screen, and obviously the lovely ticker that's going across my head as well, which also has Harriet and Juliet's Twitter handles too. So that's all you need to know. If you do follow us on there live, that means you can ask us questions, make comments and share your favourite tweets of the week. And also the rest of the time we'll be tweeting clips out from this show, but also news of the next show, and also just curating a palatable selection of tweets as possible. But it's all about the tweets that the guests have chosen. So without any further ado, let me introduce to you both Harriet and Juliet. Harriet Braine is a musical comedian who's won the Best Newcomer at the Musical Comedy Awards, reached the final of the Gilded Balloons So You Think You're Funny competition, can never say that right, and was crowned the winner of the Funny Women Stage Award. Fated by Culture Trip, Metro and Radio 2, among others, Harriet has enjoyed acclaimed and sold-out Edinburgh Fringe runs with the show Total Eclipse of the Art and Les Admirables, which is as fancy as I get this evening.
Mais oui.
Mais oui. Juliet Meyers, meanwhile, has been a regular writer on Sarah Millican's TV programme and also on Sarah's radio show Elephant in the Room, as well as writing for 8 out of 10 Cats and Mock the Week. Juliet sold out shows across the globe, including the show This Flipping Rescue Dog Has Ruined My Life, which is a show she performs with her dog Homer, who I've met, and he's a lovely chap, and Pro, in brackets, Found, which is about travelling in India and tracing her Iraqi Jewish roots. So two fantastic and fascinating guests. Please welcome to the Zoom room Harriet Braine and Juliet Meyers. As if by magic you appear.
Hello.
Hello. Nice to see you again. I'm going to give a blatant plug right at the top of the show because we were all on the bill of SE1 comedy this week on Thursday, London's newest new material night. But it's so it's great to see you guys again. How is everything? What have you done since Thursday? Is the question. Who wants to start? Oh, dumbstruck. What are you doing at the moment? Just fill us in with your.
I always go blank. I can never remember what on earth I've done when someone asks me that. I think I've hoovered quite a bit, watched the telly,
Ditto.
and tried to kind of hustle for a bit more work, and eventually plan some sort of holiday, even though.
That's quite a lot in a couple of days, Julia, I have to say. That's pretty good.
Hoovering, yes.
Well, the hoovering's very important. I've been doing a bit of hoovering. Where are you with shows? Because obviously I've mentioned Profound, but I'm not sure where you are with shows and previews and intentions to do solo shows, live, etc.
Me or Harriet?
You first.
Me. Profound is it's in preview stage, but it's sort of a slight revamp of a show I did ages ago, but did not badly, but did by taking out all tricky bits, and because it's about my family history, I've learnt so much more since then.
It does sound a fascinating story, yeah.
Yeah, and it's essentially it's about. Because my dad's family's from Iraq, but then they had to flee Iraq, so they lived in India. He grew up in India, and then he came to the UK. So I went back to India to trace his roots, but with this woman who I used to go to yoga with, who was also a sex therapist, and we got on each other's nerves. And we went to the condition was that we'd find my granddad's grave and their house and everything, but we'd also go to this ashram.
Right.
And
I get the feeling there's not only a solo show coming out of this, there is a potential sitcom coming out of this.
possibly,
Oh, wow.
just I enjoy doing it. It's weird because I never know whether to focus on the how annoyed we got with each other, or the kind of history. Like I keep sort of trying to try out different versions of it, because some people are like, oh, that's fascinating that the Iraqi Jews did that, and other people are like, tell me the poo story again.
Or you can like get two versions of this show. Oh God, that's going to be brilliant when it. I'm really looking forward to that.
Yeah, same.
I mean, just reading the couple of lines in it, I was sort of, my interest was piqued, but I'm looking forward to that. Both versions, obviously. And Harriet, you've got a show that you're sort of currently sort of bedding in, really, aren't you?
Yeah, again in preview stages. I mean, I've only done it once so far, but I've been doing the material like at New Material Nights, including SE1 Comedy. Plug. And yeah, it's called Arsehole, which is OURSOUL.
Yes, it's okay because we're not after 9 o'clock like it matters on YouTube. But
yeah. It's just so if you see it on a poster, arsehole. But I like the idea that people will have to say arsehole when in reference to it. And my dream would be to just to let you know, Julian, would be to get on like Radio 2 or something again and have some like eminent DJ have to say, this is Harriet Braine with her show Arsehole. That's my dream. That's my ambition with this show, is to get someone important to say arsehole. But yeah, it's about me and my school days, but also lots of interesting, weird people from history who were kind of arseholes.
Oh, so you're getting the figures from history. It's not just a like totally personal show, which would be a bit of a new direction for you.
It would, yeah. I mean, Les Admirables was a little bit, had like a maybe 10% personal stuff in it and 90% history, whereas this is more of an even split, I would say. Yeah. It is a bit of a departure. Yeah, singing about myself.
Yeah, well, I mean, yeah, that's right. You did one of the songs on Thursday, and it went down really well. I was really enjoyed that.
Oh, yeah. I mean, I did a show last night as well, in a cabaret bar. Well, in the Glory. I don't know if you guys have performed there. It's really, really fun, and they found it very relatable. So yeah, okay. It's weird to me. I've never been a relatable comic, but
oh my goodness, you're finding your relatable voice.
Yeah.
Good evening to Martin, super fan of the show. Thanks as ever for joining us, Martin. Invaluable assistance often during the show, so hello to you. Now, Juliet, Harriet and I spoke recently on this show, as you're both returning guests, which is fantastic. In fact, this show is nearly coming up to its first anniversary, hard to believe.
Oh.
I know, candles next week. But so when you were on, so Harriet and I have discussed sort of how Harriet feels about social media sort of fairly recently, which was, I think, fair to say, Harriet's relatively tentative.
Oh yeah.
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 And you were saying just before we came on air, Juliet, that you've got, I didn't quiz you about this at the time, but you've got a sort of an experience of going viral that was a bit sort of double-edged.
Well, it was. I mean, it's so weird because I try not to be addicted to social media, but I am. And then
Guilty.
The only good bit about it, I guess, is I do try and tweet jokes because it's good practice writing jokes. And I tweeted a joke which is on my timeline. I'm probably going to massacre it myself, but essentially, have you been involved in a car crash that wasn't your fault? And then the reply is, yes, Brexit.
I remember that one. Yeah, totally.
And it was weird how, like, I looked after 10 minutes and a few people had tweeted it. And then, because it got tweeted by people higher up the kind of comedy food chain, I guess, who then retweet, and then other people retweeted it. So it did really well. But obviously with that came, it was lovely because first of all I was like, hooray, and I kept being obsessed by the numbers. But then of course after a bit, you get the people with the union flags, and the people saying, oh, you pathetic, not even funny, comedian question mark.
Oh, the old favourite, yeah.
All of that, and then and weirdly, I mean, stupidly, I think now it's happened to me once, it wouldn't bother me so much. But I mean, actually, I was walking in the Lake District at the time with my family, and I didn't look at any of the scenery. I was just so busy replying to these people.
Yeah. Oh, you actually chose... Well, hang on a sec. You chose to reply.
Yeah.
Oh, come on.
Stupidly,
Rookie error.
Well, the two things that would get me would be when people would say, or just London elite. That's why you're saying that.
And you're in the Lake District, so that's so unfair.
Yeah. Well, it was ridiculous. Well, I was only there.
I know.
But even so, it felt like it's nothing to do with being London elite. I think this is what's good for the UK, and I've lived in Europe. But and then after a bit, you don't reply, I guess. And then, but I started to a little bit, especially, and then every now and then, what would happen would be that people would be, once something goes viral, people make their own memes. And then people would at me, like my friends would at me saying, look, this person's pretending they wrote it. And so then I'd say, hey, could you credit me? And which is also a minefield. And then it got...
That is incredibly time consuming on the one hand. I mean, first of all, replying to the people that were the... Replying to the haters, that's got to be, a hellish thing. But I know, I think I'd be more motivated to basically say, would you mind crediting me? So I know I'd be busy one way or the other.
Yes, but that was the thing, because I wanted the credit, and I mean because there's so many Facebook or Twitter things that are Remainers, so I was sort of pleased, but people were passing off their own joke, and actually... I think it was Willesden Station have got like a big whiteboard. They wrote it on a whiteboard.
They're not the only tube station, but
yeah. But they post silly things on it, and they posted the joke.
Oh my goodness!
So it was sort of nice, but it also felt really annoying. And in fact, even the other day, I saw that someone had made a meme of it and sent it in to James O'Brien at LBC, right. I guess he works at, and someone had done their meme, and someone had atted me saying, look, this person's, but they'd done it wrong. They'd said, have you been involved in an accident that wasn't your fault? Yes, Brexit. And so then people were saying, what a stupid joke, it doesn't even work. And I was like, it's because it said car crash. I car crashed. And then you just think, it doesn't matter, like if Mark Simmons, online a comedian, and I think he wrote a joke that I'm probably now going to massacre. Something like, have you got? I'm looking for a book on turtles, and then the reply is hardback, and he's like, yeah, and little legs as well, and it's a great joke, and it went viral, and he tried to. After a bit, you just have to go, let it go, doesn't matter, I can't do it anymore. It's not...
I guess you've got to get through that process before you reach the kind of let it go, but at least the let it go thing is useful for the next time it happens.
I think so, and and as for the haters, because I then did, the only other thing, it was going viral, but I deleted it, was when COVID was about to kick off and Boris got his girlfriend pregnant. And I said, gosh, Boris is multiplying quicker than the COVID virus. And that did well. And then the haters really got stuck in with accusing me of not being feminist or, saying be kind. And it was like, I wasn't being horrible about Carrie. I was being horrible about him.
Yeah.
But you just go, I'll leave it. And I deleted that.
I know
I couldn't be bothered.
It's easy to say, but do you get to a point where you sort of focus on the likes and the retweets and you think, haters can sort of... Because these people who've never probably mustered more than a few likes or retweets themselves necessarily.
Yeah.
Well, the troll fraternity, anyway.
Yeah, I think so. I think that's what you've got to do. I mean, it gets... I try not to... I wasn't overly bothered, I guess, after a while, because I've got friends that have been on, you know, anyone that's been on the telly, I think, you know, like I looked at, someone had written to me after the Carrie tweet, or the Boris Johnson tweet as it actually was, someone said, God, you're just so ugly. And it was like, this is irrelevant to the joke.
Right, okay, yeah.
But he said I looked like someone I'd never heard of. So then I was like, what? Like, how old is this guy? Because it was like some horror film thing. And then I saw that he tweets Nish Kumar 3 times a day with you. And I thought, wow, if that's what Nish puts up with, you know, this is nothing. And you do just go, well, okay, you know, I wish I hadn't deleted the tweet now, but you do also go, who are these faceless, horrible people?
Well, that's the problem. I mean, Twitter knows.
Oh, exactly. You know, I mean, the only thing that did make me laugh is 1 or 2 people, because it said, my Twitter profile, I think, still says, do shows with my dog.
Yeah.
1 or 2 people said, is the dog the funny one? Which did kind of like make me go, fair enough. It's quite funny.
So you've actually deleted the original tweet then?
I haven't deleted the Brexit one, but I did.
Right. Okay.
I deleted the Boris is multiplying quicker than COVID, because I just thought, I'm going to sit here now watching people, but also because it must have, that one actually more than the Brexit one somehow seemed to attract. Like the Brexit one, people weren't quite so nasty, and it felt like every single thing had a Union flag, or I don't know. I just thought,
I mean, if you'd have tweeted that if it had happened a few months later when we got into the COVID, then it might have been slightly different, I think. But I know exactly where I'm going to start with the tweets now after having this discussion, because we've actually got, this is the first show back that we've had 2 guests, which is fantastic, which means we've got more tweets to do. Although I don't know if I can find it quickly, but because of the joke structure that you did, I'm just see if I can find it. Oh, here it is. So Moby was in The Guardian, and it was only a Q&A, and he said one of his answers was, I've been accidentally celibate for 6 years, so I couldn't resist. Have you had an accident at work that wasn't your fault? It's quite a fun interview, that. But now let me stop, because of the kind of slightly prehistoric reception that you had from those tweets. Let me start with the Ken Cheng tweet. Now, Julia, was that your choice? Or was that your choice? Right.
Yes.
Okay, let's start with one of yours, then Julia, and then we'll go to one of Harriet's. So can you basically just read out Ken's tweet and explain what's going on, and the subtweet as well?
Sure. So Ken's, Ken is replying actually to whoever Ian of Wyke is, who says, why is it okay to call Britain's Brits Australian? I mean, it should say Australians.
Australianian.
Australianism.
I like that. Australianian.
But not to call Pakistanis a similar nickname. And, you know, I just, you know, because you sort of go, for God's sake, you know that the P word is a racial slur, and it carries, you know, so much history and pain, and
it's typical. Like, it's just a typical disingenuous, awful man on Twitter, isn't it? Like, ugh, I just hate it.
Yes.
Absolutely. I saw this tweet as well, and I was very tempted to choose it. So I'm glad I didn't actually, because it was
absolutely
on my
but it
long
is
list.
And so, you know, I just love Ken has said, you know, why are 2 different words with entirely different historical contexts not the exact same thing? I am stumped. And I just love his, you know, because, you know, going back to that thing of how do you reply, how do you have an argument over Twitter, or how do you reply? I quite like Ken's sarcasm, really, but pointing out that, you know, they have entirely different historical context, and as Harriet says, you know, just this sort of, don't play the innocent. Oh, I'm just abbreviating the word Pakistani. Oh, come on.
I mean, it's It is strange. It's almost like he's sort of in the trenches fighting some, fighting some kind of war that was, not that there was ever a struggle to sort of use this objectionable word, but you know what I'm saying. It's just like the kind of man in the forest who doesn't realise that, that could be an excuse for him. It just seems so obtuse, doesn't it? But it just seems a weird thing to be bringing up at this stage, like 50 years or so of history have just not happened.
Oh, well, exactly. Well, I assume that this has come off the back of the Yorkshire cricket
absolutely
thing.
Yeah.
And again, with that, because that's almost what whoever the guy is who admitted that he used the word, but has said, "Oh, it's just bants."
Yeah.
And it's.
And no one has worn that excuse. It was a sort of universally panned, and rightly so.
Yeah.
Also, I love the way that Ian of Wyke calls it a nickname. It's it just adds another layer of I just can't. Oh my gosh.
I meant it in a nice way.
Nickname. Oh my god.
I know that is. I mean, I don't. I don't. Yeah, I'm not sure. So hang on a sec. What have we got? Michael. I'm lost. Michael Vaughan. Oh, never mind. But Ken is well worth knowing. Well, that's certainly true. I mean, in fact, actually,
I agree. Ken is a top tweeter.
But also, I kind of
because I find
Ken,
it actually.
Because Ken, I love Ken stuff.
Yeah, same.
But to me, when I first started following Ken, it was all gags. So I often find that an interesting thing. At what point do people say, no, I'm going to jump in here?
Yeah, no, that's true. Well, I mean, certainly he has. He's certainly come off the fence for quite a few things, in fairness.
Well, I guess, races...
Well, hardly off the fence, but yeah, exactly. I mean, well, also, it's just so kind of... It is so ludicrous. It's sort of inherently ludicrous, really, that there is a comedian's job there to be done, to lampoon that, not only because it's sort of... it's racist, but because it is just sort of fatuous, really. High fatuous content, essentially.
Yes.
So, Harry, let's go to one of yours, which I'm wondering whether we go to... Let's have a look. Some of those mine, aren't they? Because you had one political one.
Did I? Oh, yeah, I did.
You did, didn't you? Yeah.
I had one.
Oh, that's all right. Yours don't. Shigley. Marina Perkins is your political one. And actually... Then we can go back to Boris one that Juliet's picked out. So yeah, if you just want to read Marina's tweet, and we can go into this one.
Okay, so it says, "This is a good one. Government paid £300 million to UNICEF for PPE. Turns out this PPE is unwanted or unusable. So it's currently sitting in over 10,000 shipping containers, which is actually causing a container shortage, costing £1 million per day to store. Who owns the storage firm? UNICEF."
Circular madness.
It's like, it is. It's like a snake eating its own tail, except the opposite. It's like a snake growing in a circle. I don't know what the metaphor is for this, but I just thought it was. I mean, not laugh out loud funny, but
well, it's
really funny.
Interesting. So, I mean, I've seen Marina's tweets sort of on and off. She's, I think she's into tech and marketing lead, but she's obviously big into her politics. No fan of Brexit or Boris, as she points out. Hang on, it's a story that I googled after you sent me the tweet, and I think it's only appeared in the Mirror so far. But maybe we got so jaded with sort of PPE scandals that it's just fallen a little. I mean, obviously there's a big sleaze thing going on at the moment, so I'm just surprised not to have seen it in one or two other.
I know. I mean, because there was just so much other stuff wrong, so I'm not surprised it's sort of like fallen by the wayside. But I just thought it was like a nice little bit of like a little, little bit of chocolate sprinkles on the horrible ice cream that is like the current state of the government.
That's just amazing. Wow.
Yeah, it's almost beautiful, really.
There is something, there is some kind of symmetry to it, I suppose, isn't it? I mean, I'm just trying to work it.
I mean, if this was like some very, very elaborate performance art, it would be awesome. But it's not.
Yeah, it's true. It has got that. It's got a real element of that.
Yeah, it's
To it.
like that guy who did Take the Money and Run. I've forgotten the name of the artist, but
Is it Norwegian? Was
yeah,
it Norwegian
yeah,
artist?
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. Take the
Yeah.
money and run. Ah,
Yeah, I'm still not sure what I think about that one. I have to say, that Take the Money and Run. So that's the artist that basically was going to be a sort of. It was going to be notes in. He'd previously done an exhibition that was notes in frames, and then when he delivered his exhibition to the gallery, they were empty frames, weren't they? And it was called Take the Money and Run. But I don't know. I just
Yeah.
can't help feeling a little bit sorry for the gallery somehow. Sorry. I know. I don't have a. Yeah, I have a sort of. I have a sort of slightly strange soul when it comes.
I mean,
to things like that.
same, because you sort of, but it's not like the gallery. It's not like it was the gallery's money, was it?
Oh, I
'Cause
thought
it
they
was-
were left
'cause it
out of
was-
pocket because of the show. Oh no, they did. It was. I think it was the gallery's money.
Was it? Oh,
I mean,
okay.
whether
Well,
this has
that's-
since been returned to them, I imagine it possibly has. But
Yeah, I guess it's a really strange situation because I don't understand how it works, because the money had to be for this not to be a crime. Like the money had to become the artwork before the artist had made it. Oh God, it's like another circular.
But I mean, I suppose ultimately what it's saying here is that if Uniserve also,
Yes.
they could probably, they could get some kind of performance art out of this as well, and yet earn even more money from
I
that,
know.
essentially. But yeah, it's a crazy circular
I can't
story.
believe
They
how.
don't even need to have the PPE, do they? It's almost like
No, exactly.
they don't. It's just mad.
Oh, thank you, Martin.
Yes, Jen's Hanning is out. I mean, if anyone knows what happened to the money, then or whether the gallery got the money back, you can tweet it us. You see, that's the beauty of it all. But I mean, Uniserve does sound like a bit like something you'd read in 1984 or something like that. I don't know. So look, now we're on sort of all things government and Boris. Juliet, I think. Let's have a look. Let's make sure I'm in the right column. Yes, I think I am. I think it was Broner's tweet I was particularly thinking about here. So yeah, go ahead and read it and we'll tuck in.
Can't believe people still don't know this, but Frankenstein is the name of the scientist. The monster is called Boris Johnson.
And that's Broner, just to let everyone know, because I put people listening to the podcast version are going to hate me if I don't. That's Broner C. Titley. Is that correct? She's a TV comedy writer in shows including Spitting Image, Motherland, Tracy Ullman, and Harry Hill. So in fact, we must get her on the show as well. I keep clicking people's.
So many tweets are great that she does, but this one I just loved, because again, it's that thing of, every day there's a new nightmare. So this is just, I just felt this was a nice short thing, but also based on, people perpetually doing that thing of Frankenstein, and people going, no, but, the monster was, Frankenstein was the evil guy, or the other way around, whatever it is, that eternal thing that people do. And so this is just lovely. It's one of those tweets that I wish I'd written.
I don't know, it's because I did Frankenstein at school, the book. I studied Frankenstein, and I had to redo my essay because I did it so badly the first time. So I've studied it twice, and I think this tweet kind of annoys me a bit because it seems to sort of absolve Boris Johnson, because
because
the monster is kind of the innocent party. He's the newborn baby in this situation, thrust into the world unprepared, and then Frankenstein is the one playing God and stuff. And I think Boris Johnson is more guilty of that.
Wow, you see, this is the value you get on Let's Kill Twitter. You get the comedic analysis, but you also get the artistic subtext.
You also get the GCSE English.
That is true, because that. Which is the thing when people say Frankenstein and imply that Frankenstein is the baddie, and everyone corrects them and says, no, the monster is just not, the monster is the creation. But actually, yes, Frankenstein was the baddie for creating this thing. So yes, when you look at it on the on the level of actually who was the monster. The monster wasn't the monster.
It shows who's read the book to the end and who hasn't.
Well, yeah. I mean, obviously, yeah. I mean, the gag, he certainly cuts to the chase as a gag, and actually, what it does.
No, I love the gag. It's a good gag.
Yeah.
But what it definitely does do is it raises this whole question about the nature of Boris Johnson and how he is perceived, and it seems to be one of those things that no matter what happens, with him, he sort of he rolls on.
Martin, I agree.
I don't know,
Yes.
I mean, there was a tweet from there's a journalist. Oh right, okay. Well, we're really getting into the Frankenstein.
But Martin is right. The evil scientist is actually Eton, who
the demon headmaster of Eton.
I think this should be. I think we may be getting into a musical situation here.
But I think that thing of people. What I love is that thing of I can't believe how people still think that Boris is funny or a bumbling fool when he's not. He's dangerous.
Mm-hmm.
Well, yeah. I mean, certainly even before he was mayor, certainly during when he was mayor, there were people saying, but actually, I know he's coming over as sort of a bumbling kind of affable character, and obviously does have an affability to him, but he also believes in X, Y, and Z, and actually he's much more sort of right wing than you think he is. And he played a fairly centrist hand as mayor, but perhaps biding his time. But the journalist Peter Oborne tweeted. I mean, this is one that I picked up from me yesterday, and he was talking about the Owen Paterson Sleaze story. Feels like Johnson's Black Wednesday, the beginning of the end, and no coming back. Don't know about that, but. I mean, Peter Oborne's an experienced sort of politics watcher, but when do governments fall is the question now.
Well, yes, and whether all of this, the Conservatives are ahead in the polls still, aren't they? And so, what does the public actually care about? And I was listening yesterday to something on the radio, and someone was saying, well, still that levelling up thing, people are like, well, if he's going to level up the country, which, he's not doing, but, he's very good at talking the talk. He's very good at catchphrases. And he'll have another baby and it'll, all of that, or he'll get another dog, or he'll get another wife, or I don't know.
I don't know. It's really frustrating because basically, like any time, every time the Conservative Party do something awful like this. I mean, this really is very, very, very awful. But it's nothing new, and I feel like it's sort of expected, expected of them now. And every time people say, "Oh, look how awful this is," hundreds and thousands of other people are saying, "Oh, but Labour are also awful because of this and that." And usually it's because it's like, "Oh, everyone in Labour is a hypocrite." It's like, okay, well, what is that? I think people have lost sight of what the lesser of two evils actually is.
Absolutely.
Because it's always a choice between two rubbish things, because you're never going to get everything you want. But it's really strange how people are sort of forgiving all of this sleaze almost because I don't really know why, because they feel like they have no other option.
I think so. I mean, but that's what was. But also, I don't really hear. I loved hearing John Major talking yesterday because it was so succinct and felt like quite old school in its integrity. Now, I was never a fan of John Major, but I enjoyed that it was a Conservative calling out someone in his own party.
Yeah. I mean, see, it's slightly ironic, and I'm not putting the blame on him for this, but obviously the Major years. I mean, that was quite something. I mean, we talk about sleaze issues now. I mean, literally. Yeah. I mean, I worked in Parliament in the 90s, and I worked at the tail end of the the Tory administration under Major and for the Lib Dems, I'll add pre-tuition fees. It was carnage. There was something going on all the time. You know, whether it was BSE, it was Cash for Questions. It was literally, it was almost like Twitter before Twitter, in the sense that there was so much going on in terms of sort of scandals and, you know, missteps and much worse. You know, but actually, if it hadn't, that was already that was pretty fertile ground. But, you know, what was the other factor? It was Tony Blair. It was like, had it been, I think if it had been John Smith, I think probably Labour still would have won. They wouldn't have won with a landslide that they got under Tony Blair, I don't think. But they probably would have just squeaked it, which, you know, which might have been a bit difficult for partly your fault when too, Julian. I don't know. I was only photocopying press releases or something. I was only obeying orders. In 2010, you'd have a point there, Martin, I think. But anyway, it's a weird one. Yeah, so What It Takes to Fall, and it is the kind of it's charisma on the other side as well. But what I did while we were talking was I lined up Harriet's David Shrigley tweet, because I thought it had a sort of parliamentary air about it. Yes. So yeah, Harriet, this is just nice and simple fun, isn't it, really?
Yeah, I mean, I love David Shrigley. Yeah, I think he's one of the best artists ever. And yeah, I just saw this on Bonfire Night, and it just made me laugh.
Very sweet.
Guy Fawkes, naughty boy, and it's Guy Fawkes in a big tall black hat, looking very dapper and naughty. Yeah.
Yeah.
And I think David Shrigley paints on, like, not glass, well, maybe glass, but he paints like on a transparent surface, and so they're like really luminous, and I don't know, I like the way they look as well. His paintings.
Now you're famed for your comedy songs about art and artists. Yes. Is David Shrigley going to be immortalised?
No, not because I don't. But you know, some of my favourite artists I haven't done songs about because it's really hard to be earnest and funny at the same time. Yeah, I mean, I'm probably not going to do any more art history songs because I've written an embarrassingly large number of them already. But
you have almost covered. Actually, you've almost covered all the sort of the people worth knowing.
Yeah. Plus, I mean, David Shrigley. I don't think I could be funnier in a song about David Shrigley than he is already, because it's hard to make fun of basically another comedian.
Good. Yeah, that's good. You're totally absolved for various reasons from doing that. That's very sweet. Let's have a look at what rhymes with Shrigley. Well, surely
so many things.
Wrigley's, at least, for some reason. Look, right, now John Lewis, that's interesting, because you've both chosen John Lewis things. Let's do, sort of related.
Oh, okay.
So Tom, now is this one of yours, isn't it, Harriet? From
it
Tom
is.
Little. So Tom Little, comedian.
Tom Little.
Here.
He is the greatest living comedian, in my opinion.
Wow, that's great. It's nice when the Twitter bravado lives up to that. It lives up to the hype. Right, let's have a look. It's funny enough on silent, but let's have a look. Have a little vid.
Do you like Christmas? Do you need to get ready for Christmas? Then get yourselves down to John Lewis department stores for everything your heart desires this Christmas now. We sell clothing, perfume, bed linen, hair dryers, plates and more. On sale now at low, low prices. Bargains, 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 bargains. We've got great gifts for all your friends and business associates. Convince your family you love them with gifts from John Lewis. Look at this smiling boy. And now, for a limited time only, spend over £10 at John Lewis and you'll be entered into a prize draw where you can win 2 free tickets for the new Cinderella Christmas pantomime, starring John Pickard, Tanisha Geronimo, Benji McNair and Cobra from Gladiators, live at the Sunderland Empire. Christmas at John Lewis, we're literally giving things away! Terms and conditions apply.
Wonderful.
Fantastic.
I haven't seen that. That's
Oh,
That's just
I love
commitment to capitals, isn't it? Carry on.
yeah. Tom has done a few of these videos, and he's done. We like them so much. Me and one of my best friends that we literally talk to each other in his voice now. And like a standard greeting between us is, "Do you like chocolate? Do you like eating chocolate in the bath?" And that's Tom's version of the flake advert.
so
Yeah,
good.
right.
Yeah, it's just so funny.
That's
I can't get enough.
genius.
Oh goodness.
I've seen him do one. Did he do that? I'm looking for a book by J.R. Hartley, but the German version of it or something.
That was very surreal. I like that
Yeah,
one.
I saw that as well. It was great. I forget that. So it's the time of year, like, you know, the John Lewis thing is such a deal. So I mean, you know, obviously I do some research for this show. So I did watch the John Lewis advert.
I haven't watched it yet.
Oh right,
I've
I did
only watched
wonder.
Tom's version of it.
Which is very strange. It's very Stranger Things. If you've sort of watched it, it's like a.
Oh
yeah.
right. I was in a John Lewis Christmas advert one year,
Really?
like maybe 5 years ago or 4 years ago, but like only as it was my.
Was
choir.
your line? Do you like chocolate?
No, do you like eating chocolate in the bath? No, it was I was in a choir and we did like the oohs and ahs behind like the dog on the trampoline or whatever it was that year.
Oh yeah.
Goodness.
Yeah, we did the singing. So me and like 100 other people were in that.
Well, apparently
that was
there's
my favourite one.
Oh, was it? Oh, right.
Because it was so lovely. Because the dog is watching the fox, isn't he? Trampoline.
Dog, isn't it? It's the dog, yeah.
Of course.
Oh, so lovely.
Well, apparently there is an Iceland skit
You're
on
welcome.
it as well, on the John Lewis one, but I couldn't. There was an independent story on it, but there were so many things to click independent that I couldn't see it.
Oh.
Funny that, isn't it? Right. Anyway, what have we got next? Well, more John Lewis actually, because of long-suffering the man called John
I
Lewis.
love John Lewis, the man.
So Juliet, this is one of yours. Do you want to read John's tweet, or what he's responding to, and then his
Yes,
tweet?
he's responding to someone, John O'Davis, saying, "John Lewis, how do you pick the songs every year for the Christmas adverts?" But of course, it's John Lewis Retail that John O should have tweeted. But bless him, John Lewis replies to all of these tweets. So he said, "I write a program that analyzes the notetic flamicitude of all songs ever played in the past 70 years, then use a pseudo-random number generator with a Gaussian, I don't know if these are made up words,
It must be.
distribution to pick one from the top 10. And then he even puts in at John Lewis Retail as if, you know, to help.
Pass it on.
I looked at his timeline. He must get so many of these.
Wow,
And he-
81.5.
Such a trooper.
Wow, yeah, I can imagine that it's all most
Actually-
of that's him.
And again, he's made his own John Lewis advert.
Seeing as he's a computer scientist, maybe these are actual things. Maybe Gaussian distribution is an actual thing.
Yeah.
And notetic flamicitude is an actual thing.
I tell you, it sounds, it sounds totally legit to me. I mean, it's very much that. It's very much that Blackadder moment. Oh, you really got your patter sorted, but I reckon that's it. It's definitely. John Lewis has really embraced his unwanted annual attention. I know.
He has, well, like I say, he's made his own ad. So at the top of his page, his pinned tweet is he's done an ad, I think, with his son. And I just think, good on you, mate. Like, I mean, he's got a blue tick. I don't know how he's got the blue tick, whether he's famous in his own right for something.
Is that not from just getting like oodles of followers because of?
Maybe.
Yeah.
Yes.
You know, that's a brilliant. That is a great Twitter success story, I have to say.
Just nice guy, you know. I have in the past tweeted W.H. Smith and it's the wrong person.
Oh, well, that's good to know they're still on Twitter, but
Yeah.
bless them. So what's, hang on, Martin's, right, I say, so Gregor Johnson has just recommended someone you might want to check out. Well, we'll push on with our selection. Oh, what's that? Hang on. What's going on here? I don't know. Hang on. I'm pressing all the wrong buttons, much like my life story. All right, hang on. So we've done John Lewis. There's a double header of John Lewis. There's a double header of Boris. Oh goodness, right? Okay, hang on. We've still got the environment. Let's have a quickie.
We'll sort that in a sec.
We'll sort that in a sec. So let's have a quickie from Harriet. Tell us a bit more. I don't know much about Lord Scrowley. I love this.
So yeah, Lord Scrowley, aka Robin Hutchinson, MBE, is a man from my hometown of Surbiton, and he's basically unofficial mayor of Surbiton, I would say. Like, he does loads and loads of stuff in the community and is like a general, like, really amazing guy, and he hosts gigs in his house, or he used to before COVID.
Okay.
And yeah, just really, really great guy. And yeah, very funny as well. And this one tickled me because I kind of work in a genealogical, that's part of my job. I work in a library in a museum, and so I'm constantly doing little bits of genealogy for people. And we're currently in the middle of a series of Who Do You Think You Are on BBC, and we get a lot more inquiries at the moment.
Okay.
So this is very much on my mind. And me and my colleagues are always complaining that people think genealogy is really, really easy because they go into like an old house and a woman's like, there's all these documents, there you go, and they expect that to happen as soon as they walk into the library. Anyway, so this made me laugh. So Robin Hutchinson says, this week's episode of Who Do You Think You Are features Rudolph, and then there's a picture of a huge number of taxidermied animals on a wall. Like trophies, hunting trophies, and it just really tickled me.
It's amazing. It looks like goats and deer and stags, obviously, rams. Yeah, it's quite. I mean, what's that on the ceiling as well?
Yeah.
Is that more?
I think more skulls.
It's almost a bit. It's almost getting a bit satanic on that ceiling.
Yeah, I know. A chandelier made of skulls. Yeah, but it's funny because I don't think there actually is a reindeer on there, but it's just maybe there is. I don't really know.
Spot the reindeer competition.
But I just thought it was funny because it was a bit like looking back at the evolution of species and stuff, and it would be really, really funny if reindeers had descended from a long line of goats as well. I don't know. I thought it was funny.
That is cool. And just to go back to Martin, apparently worked at 15 years in Kent Libraries. Big up the library workers. Absolutely. Woo! Too right.
It's always the quiet ones, isn't it, Martin? It's always the quiet ones.
So now let's have a look. Ooh, I think we might save the pooch delay. Yeah, let's get the environment sorted. Juliet, you picked this one from the big issue.
Yeah, I mean, it's so weird because, like, where do you start with the environment? But
not with recycling, apparently. No,
well, I just think the whole kind of COP26 thing, I really do. It just seems like I'm pleased that they're making these promises, but it just feels like, and now what? How are you gonna do this? And is it all just hot air, which incidentally is even worse for the environment? And it just seems a nightmare. And so I have to say, I watched Greta Thunberg talking, and it's interesting this thing how I've heard a few people saying, well, you gotta have faith, and you gotta, let's not be negative. And then Greta was like, it's all blah blah blah, and this whole conference has been a failure. I don't know if it's been a failure. Maybe it's a start, but I do think maybe the only way to make people keep their promises is people coming out and constantly protesting I mean, it's so hard, but you know, and again, China and Russia weren't even there. So they didn't even join via Zoom. Well, you know, so.
Yeah, no, that's true. So we've had the analysis before the tweet now. So the tweets from the big issue.
Sorry.
That's
yes,
all right.
Sorry.
The tweets from I like this one. I might read this one. That's the tweets from the big issue, and it says, "You know, it's time to worry, even when the introverts are prepared to leave the house," which I love that. And then there's two women holding a banner which says, "So bad, even the introverts are here." And did that sort of tickle you? I mean, I don't know. Do you consider yourself? I mean, you're a comedian. I don't know if you can consider yourself an introvert, but I don't know whether that sort of resonated.
So.
I think a lot of comedians are introverts. Yeah, it's a bit weird, but I think.
Yeah, I mean, I always feel like I can go on stage and I can be kind of extroverty, but then there are other times when I feel very introverted. So it did, you know, I think there were a lot of good banners, but this one did make me laugh. Just because, you know, like, I mean, actually before the Iraq war, I remember seeing someone, I went on a protest and someone had a banner saying, "Even my mum says this isn't right."
Yeah, I remember that.
Such a kind of like, you know, but especially, you know, I just think it is now at the stage of, this isn't, what is it people keep saying? We're no longer talking about when, you know, if this happens, we're in it. You know, so yeah, just seemed like maybe the way to get through to people is, you know, humour. So yeah, I just really liked it.
Yeah, I do like that one. It's a good one. Interesting what you're saying about Greta Thunberg and that sort of negativity. And I mean, it's never going to be. I mean, that is the kind of, that is the thing about activism. It will never be. It's never going to be enough, is it? You're never going to have a sort of protest that sort of one day sort of thinks, "Oh, well done, brilliant, we'll go home now." Yeah.
I know.
I won't get to paint any more banners to start with, but
I know, but I do think she's so good.
Yeah,
you know, I mean, again, you know, this whole thing of abuse, you know, and how she just seems so composed and single-minded.
Because she's like the opposite of a politician in a way. In that she's sort of incapable of sleaze. As in, like, I think she's sort of like, she's so like brutally honest, and I think we can like rely on her to continue to be so. And it's obviously a lot she's taken on, but yeah, she's like, and she's proven herself, so.
She's definitely, she's absolutely raised
I really liked her singing "You Can Shove Your Climate Crisis Up Your Ass." I thought that was really funny.
Oh, I missed that.
Oh, you should watch it, Julian. It's really funny.
That's it's a bit football terrorist, that, isn't it?
It is, yeah, and it was so Glasgow as well. Yeah, I really like that.
Oh, okay.
I just think she's great, you know, and the whole thing of, you know, I know they keep, you know, I mean, annoyingly, Boris has nicked the phrase, hasn't he, of no more blah, blah, blah. But, you know, I just think she's excellent. You know, I'd go along and hear her speak any day of the week. I didn't have to fly there, I guess. But, like, yeah, she's great. And 18 still? Only 18?
Is she 18 now? Right, yeah. Okay.
I think so.
Yeah, no, it's incredible. There's no doubt about it. But yeah, love the banners. That's good. In fact, there's a whole thread, I think, there of the banners, which is good. Now, let's just see. We're doing really well, actually. Actually, yeah, there were two. There are some. Yeah, you've got both two lovely tweets to end on. We've got this one from you, Harriet. Very effective.
Yeah. It's just so relatable, this tweet. Okay, so it's from Jay with two Y's, Jay the official X. Drunk me telling drunk me not to throw up, and it's a picture of Beyonce with like a big screen behind her with herself on it. And like, I don't know how the timing works, but like the photographers captured a moment where Beyonce, the real Beyonce, has her eyes shut and is looking very sort of serene, and then the big screen behind her image of herself is like staring intently at herself, at her real self, and it literally looks like an out-of-body experience. that you have when you're inebriated, where and it's exactly what it looks exactly like drunk me telling drunk me not to throw up. I don't know how else to explain it. It's just so accurate.
It's totally nailed, that one, isn't it?
Exactly.
Amazing. Yeah. A beautiful moment right now. Let's it's pooches for end game. Hang on, where are we? Deborah Powney's tweet here. So this is your last choice here, Juliet.
Yeah. And so Deborah Powney has it's a picture of Tom Hanks with a dog, which I assume is this film Finch. And Deborah Powney has said, thinking of watching Tom Hanks's Finch this weekend, but had to Google, does the dog survive before I do?
Yeah. Have you seen it at all?
I haven't seen it. I didn't even know it existed. And but yeah, I love Tom Hanks. Love dogs. Big fan of them. Got one.
Oh, he's there. Oh, hello, Homer. You can see you there. Yeah.
No, he's too busy pretending he can't hear the fireworks. But yeah, no, this is who I am now. I do that. I have to make sure that the dog will be okay.
I can see a spoiler in this case. A spoiler is sort of quite justified, isn't it? Really.
Yeah.
Aww.
There's a sitcom that I really love that I watched, and I was waiting for the second series, and the second series kicked off with the dog dying, and I found myself just incandescent with rage that I was like, this is a sitcom, and a dog has died in the first episode of series 2.
Oh, what sitcom's this?
This is Ted Lasso. And it just felt like, I got over it. I did carry on watching, but if it's just that thing, and I'm sure it's funny because so often my friends with kids will say, "Oh, I can't watch anything with kids suffering," and then they'll say to me, "Oh, it's because unless you've had kids, you can't understand." And I'm like, I can understand. Like, I don't know what level of lack of empathy you think I've got, but
My God.
Oh, Martin, you terrible punster, Dead Lassie. That's very
good.
Very good.
Very good,
Yeah, terrible as in,
Yes. Brilliant.
scoundrel, but brilliant. Yeah.
But this is exactly what I do. What Deborah Powney did is I'd have to Google, because I'm like, if it's a road trip with a dog, I don't want Tom Hanks in it to finally find love. But, in the last scene, they're burying the dog.
It's almost like every lovable actor has to have a dog movie, like Will Smith obviously has, and I don't know. I mean, there always seems to be a lot of them, but yeah, no, that's.
I think so. I mean, he's done, wasn't he? And didn't he do Turner and Hooch as well? I think with a massive dog.
Oh, he did, didn't he? What am I like? Yeah. Of course, I've totally forgotten.
But there you go. That's just who I am. Or I mean, and the other way. Like, we're about to end this. We've got a minute left, so I need to keep it light. But a family death happens to me in the last 6 months, and every now and then I just remember the person and slightly tear up, and it works the other way. Suddenly Homer will look at me as if to go, "What the fuck's happened? You were fine a second ago." And I sometimes think, "Oh, don't get upset. The dog will get upset that I'm upset."
Oh.
Do you think they'll have viewings of this movie for sort of? Do you think they should have pets and owners viewings?
Yes, that as well.
Yeah.
Like but partly specifically for me because I can't go to the cinema and not get a dog sitter because Homer howls. So.
Wow. Okay.
And surely now we can maybe get COVID at the cinema. Surely it's all right if you have a dog that might wee, even though Homer wouldn't wee anywhere apart from the park.
Well, I don't know. I mean, I'm not sure about that. You've mentioned wee. That's never a good thing, but there you go.
Yeah, we can't end on that either. But he doesn't. When I take him on the train, every now and then someone will say to me, this was pre-COVID, but I remember taking him on a train to Edinburgh, And, you know, he knows what's inside and he knows what's outside. And some guy overtook me on the way to get in the train and he went, excuse me, what are you going to do if he curls one out? And I'm like, he's not going to. He just wouldn't. Like,
oh no! I mean, sausage dogs have always got excuses for that, haven't they? But anyway,
Yes.
so as you rightly point out, we've totally nailed this as well because we managed to get all your tweets in, I believe, in the hour. So that's brilliant, guys, and they were obviously like quite a range there. So we've managed to cover well everything really, and back again. So we are back. So you guys hang tight and certainly hang tight so we can have a chat in the green room. Just to let everyone know, all our streamers and viewers, well, thank you for watching. Is the first thing to say. And as I say, please do go to our YouTube channel and give us a subscribe there. All our shows and clips will be there. Please do follow us at LKT Zoom as well. It would be great. And you'll see all the notifications for future shows. The next show is next Sunday, which is Sunday the 21st of November. So almost exactly a year, I think, since we started. And we've got Josh Howie and Paul Tonkinson. And Sajila will be joining me. So we will be 2 guests, 2 hosts. There will be a quad back on screen. But I've very much enjoyed the enlarged Twitter feed and the 3 down the side. It's been lovely. So please do join us. But before we go, Harriet, what are your next gigs? When can we next see you?
I'm at the Glory again next Saturday. I've just confirmed. So that'll be I'll be doing like short bits of songs and cabaret and stuff at the Glory in Haggerston next Saturday. And then I've got my show Arsehole on the 25th of November in the Bill Murray at 9:30 p.m. And I've got another one booked in on the 20th of December at 2 North Down. So if you can come to either of those, that'd be great.
Good stuff.
Or both.
Juliet, what's going to be occupying you in the next month or so before Christmas?
Before Christmas, I'm comparing in Lewis on Wednesday. So it's just me comparing. It's not my own show. And then I'm also comparing at the weekend at Backyard Comedy Club in Bethnal Green in London.
Oh, I still haven't played there. I need to get in there.
It's lovely. I love it there.
I know, I don't know
and I'm not doing my solo show until the Leicester Comedy Festival.
Oh, okay. Right. That's February next year, isn't it? Yeah. Okay. Good stuff. Good stuff. Right. Well, good. There you go. There you can catch up with all our guests live, and obviously if you want to catch up with them online, the obvious thing to do would be to show you. There you go. I mean, you can see their stuff scrolling above me. At Juliet Meyers, at Harriet Braine. So thanks again for watching, guys. Thank you, Martin, once more. I shall see you next week with Sajila, and we will give you a rousing wave goodbye. Bye.